Good morning, Hayley. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. It's an absolute privilege to have a nice chat and discussion with you and for our viewers to get to know you a little bit better. So if you'd like to just kind of introduce yourself to us, please.
So nice to be with you, Lee. Thank you. Yeah, I'm Hayley Joy Weinberg, and my brand is Hayley Joy. And there's a very funny story about how it came to be. My company name was Different Expressions, and I loved the name Different Expressions. And when people said to me, but why Different Expressions? I said, because one day when I'm famous and Oprah interviews me and she asks me why I chose the name Different Expressions, I'll say, because everything about what I do is a different expression. And I thought it was so fabulous. And then I got a call one day from a guy, and I answered the phone and I said, Different Expressions, hello. And he said, oh, hi, is that an escort agency? I was like, I'm going to show about this Different Expressions thing. And then my hairdresser at the time, who was a little psychic, said to me, you have to call it Hayley Joy. I said, oh, but I hate my middle name. I'd never embraced my middle name. Weird. But I was in a very different space back then. So she just said to me, you have to call it Hayley Joy. And then I was like, but it seems so braggy and, like I'm calling it by my name. And she, funny enough, said to me, going forward, using your actual name for your brand is just going to be so impactful. And I was like, really? Yes. Anyway, I did call it Hayley Joy, and she was 100% right.
Oh, wow.
Best ever. So yeah, I own a company that makes ladies size inclusive fashion, and we specialize in plus sizes. We go really, really big, and we are genuine plus sizes. We don't upsize from regular sizes. Very proudly South African. I have my own factory. We design, manufacture, produce, sell everything ourselves. Yeah, and it's been an incredible journey. It really has. So that's me in a nutshell.
Oh, wonderful. I love those stories. It's yeah, and you know what, just before we get started, thank you for sharing that with us. And it's funny how someone that you might seem as not insignificant, but almost irrelevant in your business life, mentioning something, and you make that change, and years later you see now. And that in itself is an amazing story. So I want to kick off, and I want to know, after working 25 years from home, what inspired you to go into retail?
So at the age of 40, I gave up smoking, and I got bronchitis. I'd been giving up smoking for 20 years and it never worked. I just smoked double. Yeah. So I got really bad bronchitis, and I didn't smoke for 2 weeks, and I thought, this is my opportunity. This is my one and only opportunity. And I literally gave up cold turkey. Yeah. I just gave up and said, I'm never smoking again. And I was fabulous. Everything was going wonderfully. And then one morning I woke up at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and I just had these incredible waves of anxiety coming at me. Now, I'd never suffered with anything like that before, so I couldn't identify it. I didn't know what it was. And I had a complete breakdown. Everything shut down. Mental, physical, emotional, psychological. I just could not get out of bed. I decided to do some alternate therapy as opposed to going for medication. Not for any other reason, but I just knew that there was clearly something very deep, and there was a real problem. And I needed to get to the bottom of that problem, and medication would just put a Band-Aid on the problem.
Would suppress it, yes.
So, yeah, I just knew. Anyway, I worked with a very alternate woman who did something called the Bach flower remedies. And for the first 3 months, I cried like a baby, and she screamed at me. She was hardcore, but she was amazing. And about 3 weeks in, she said to me, what do you really want to do? Like, what does Hayley really, really want to do? I said, no, I'm doing what I love. And she said, no, you're not. Because if you're doing what you love, you would not be sitting in front of me. Yeah. Go deeper and tell me, what do you really want to do? And I said, you know what? I know what I want to do. I want to go out and create a safe space for all the maligned women out there who are maligned because of their size and their shape. She said, it's a done deal, go and sign a lease. I was like, oh, no, I can't sign a lease. The economy and the government and the world, and I've never been in retail. She said, I don't care. She said, I have a very clear message that you need to go and sign a lease, open a store, and create that safe space.
Wow.
And I did.
And look at you now.
And yeah, and it was the most incredible journey because I knew nothing. So I signed a lease on 143 square meters. My friends who were in retail were like, what are you doing? Are you mad? Like, you take 50 square meters when you start. I said, no, but you don't understand. Like, I need a big space because I need space. So when these big women come in, they don't feel that they're taking up the whole space. And nobody understood that.
Wow.
But because I've been in the game for so long, there were so many things that I would have liked as a plus size woman if I went to a designated plus size store. I don't want to go to a plus size store that's 50 square meters and the change room is like a box. Yes. I want a big change room so that I don't feel, and there were so many things that I put in place as I made myself the client avatar. And I did that whole thing where I went back. So if I walked in the door, what would I want to see? If I went into the change room, what would I want to see? If I bought this clothing, what? And I used, and I think that's the big secret, you know, when you do the groundwork behind the scenes. So working from home was the behind the scenes. By the time you actually like arrive on the big stage, you've got a very good knowledge of how you're going to do it and what's going to resonate with your clientele. Because I wasn't going to have normal sizes coming in as much as I was going to have, because once they got wind of it, and boy, when they got wind of it, I advertised in the Beeld newspaper. Okay. I knew nothing. I'd never advertised before. And this lovely young girl arrived in my shop and said, hi, I'm one of the representatives from the Beeld newspaper and wanted to know, would you like to take an ad? And I said, well, how much is it? And she said, it's 2,500 Rand for 10 by 7 at the bottom of the page. I said, okay.
Let's do it.
Goodness gracious, only that was insane. But what happened is that I had all these girls coming from Pretoria, because once they saw this advert, and there was a huge thing across it that, you know, that said, proudly South African plus size fashion. And I realized that we were still way off the mark. Like, we weren't going anywhere near as big in sizing as we needed to. So I went back to my factory, because I have my own full production house, went back to them and I said, okay, like, we need to just keep sizing and sizing.
Yes.
I said, but we can't just take where we're at now and keep sizing, because we're going to lose the fit. Yeah. So what we did is we took measured me from my neck all the way down, and I plotted me onto a piece of brown paper, a front, a back, and sleeves. Wow. And that was the original Hayley Joy plus size block. And from there, we sized all the way up to a 7XL. And if you see a small and a 7XL stand next to each other in exactly the same garment, they look as beautiful. Wow. I'm going to tell you that the 7XL actually looks more beautiful, because it's made with so much love and so much passion. And whenever I see it, I just stand there and I'm like, I'm so proud of this.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's amazing. And you know what, it's that when you see what you're busy with and you see that product and the absolute inspiration and joy that it brings to other women, and you see that garment on her and you feel proud. Wow. And I think that in itself is just absolutely amazing. Wow. Well done. And thank you for.
Thank you. And you love it. I love it, still go there every day and love it. And when they make me a new sample, because, you know, I do that, I always joke with my team. I say, Victoria's arrived, because I always have this thing about Victoria Becker, you know, that she just swans in and her team have got everything ready for her. And she sits down, she goes, I like that, put a pocket there. I don't like that color, change the color, goodbye, and off she goes.
So I love it. That's brilliant.
Yeah. Often I'll have I'll only have 10 minutes. So then what I'll do is I'll breeze in and I'll go, okay, Victoria's here, show me what you got. And then we'll look at it and we'll talk about it, or I'll swan in and I'll go, oh, I've had an amazing idea. And then my production manager, who's this thin, will look at me and she'll go, are you sure about that? I'm like, I'm convinced. And then they'll make me the sample and I put it on and I stand in front of the mirror and there's dead silence in the factory. And I stand there and I go, oh my word. And then I'm like, get going, get the package made with the cell ended. But that's the thing, Lee, is that when you are the brand and you are a genuine plus size like I am, and you stand in that sample, I can visualize what a small will look like, and I can visualize what a 7XL. If I was a small, there's no way I'm going to understand where a 7XL through her 3 stomachs are sitting. So when we're shaping garments, I'm aware, because that came from working on the shop floor. Yeah. I'm aware that a 7XL girl, there's a good chance she's got a tummy that hangs quite low. The top needs to be long enough to cover that. Yes. And the gripe from 5, 6, and 7XL girls is that wherever they go mainstream, the tops are never long enough. Yes. I get that. It's expensive to add 5 centimeters to a garment that's this wide. Yes. It's expensive. Yeah. I don't care because I want it to be respectful and I want them to leave their feeling honored. Wow. And that's true brand. That's when you really, really know that, when you're dedicated to making them feel respected and honored. Yes. And I love that because I have my own factory, I can do that. Yeah.
Well, I'm not even going to go to the second question I had, which was, being and working in the plus size for over 39 years, what keeps you inspired? I think you've just answered that question. And, I love what you said, and you understand your brand. And the people that support you and buy from you, that you dress so beautifully, are just as proud of your brand. And I think has an appreciation and understanding for your brand, and wow, that's just, what a story. I have to tell you something. I did not think that this was going to come out. I wasn't expecting this to be your story. And wow, and it's just so inspiring on so many levels. It's not just about your garments and stuff. I want to come visit your showroom. I want
you have to come and what it looks like. We'll do it live. We'll do a Facebook Live together. Yes. That's a really cool idea. We'll do a Facebook Live.
We'll definitely do that.
I want to go back. I just want to backtrack with you for what, just to illustrate how important it is to always be listening. So at the age of 16, I went into a career counseling session. Those things that they used to do back in the day when they used to ask you, what are you going to be when you leave school? Yes. And she said to me, so what do you want to do when you leave school? And I said, I want to go out and make a difference. And she looked at me and she said, oh, dearie, she said, that's a lovely pipe dream. She said, but unfortunately, you cannot make a living and make a difference unless you marry a very rich man or you're a trust fund baby. And I was quite advanced for my age. I was quite mature for my age. So I was already reading stuff. I was very interested in business, even from the age of 16. And I left that session and I thought, I'm never going to forget this and I'm going to prove her wrong. Yes. And that's what I set out to do.
Hopefully she's watching this interview today.
Yeah. I make a huge difference and I make a really good living while I do it. So it is doable.
Exactly. It is doable. Wow. You just keep on inspiring me more and more and more as we go along. So I think, what do you think sets Hayley Joy as a brand apart from the other brands that you get out there that might be doing something similar than what you are doing? What sets you apart?
I think there are a couple of things. I think the first thing is that I don't sit in a glass tower and leave it to a team and go, oh, well, if they make that garment and it's not fabulous, it doesn't matter, we'll sell them anyway. There is real passion, and I am involved, and not from a control freak point of view at all, from a pure passion point of view.
Yes.
I'm involved every step of the way. But also, Lee, being on the floor, working with the clients. And that's one of the reasons why I never scaled the business to 6 shops and 10 shops, and I scaled it in a different way. And if we have time, we can touch on it, because I wanted it to be personal, because I understand my market very well. They are deeply traumatized. Mainstream does not look after them, does not honor them, does not make them feel respected as clients at all. And my sole purpose is to make every single woman that I cross paths with, who is of size or shape, feel special.
Wow.
And I actually developed a hashtag called "a shape, not a size," because I came to understand that they're not a size. What is size really? We all saw such different shapes, but if I could just give them my sole thing was, I want them to wake up by the time, so I've got clients who can buy lots, and then I've got clients who can only buy 1 garment a month or 1 garment every 2 months.
Yeah.
I tell them all the same thing. If you buy 1 garment a month, you've got 12 garments in a year. The Hayley Joy clothes, and this is what really sets us apart. I'm not sure the business coach loves the idea, but I have clients walking in wearing Hayley Joy clothing from 13 years ago that looks brand spanking new. I am militant about quality. Militant. Like this jacket that I'm wearing, I promise you in 10 years' time, this jacket will look exactly the same. Like we've just got so many special things that we do, to make sure that the cottons don't unravel. Because one of the things is, if you wash a garment for 5 years or 10 years, there's a good chance the cottons will ravel. Our cottons don't unravel. Yeah. So I think the personal involvement and huge training. Like I've trained, I share all my knowledge with my team. I am constantly training. I mean, my hubby works with me in the business, and he's on the career side of things. So he handles all the orders that come in online. He processes all of that, and he sends all the messages.
Okay.
I have trained him how to send a respectful message.
Wow.
Not just to send the tracking number.
Yes.
I mean, I think he's so busy now that I think he's gone back to that. But originally my thing was, I want you highly here with your tracking number, not just a tracking number dumped in your WhatsApp. I mean, that's in my ideal world. But then again, if you're sending 25 tracking numbers in a day, like, I don't know, do you have time to go? I mean, you can just copy, but I would love that extra layer of attention and service.
Wow. Hayley, I have another question. Going through COVID and obviously struggling, tell me a little bit about how that impacted your business. I've heard so many stories of, there's so much heartache and so much difficulty that's come from this time. And then I've listened to some stories where some amazing new ideas were born. And I'm very interested to find out from you how COVID affected you and your business.
I had many moments I had epiphanies through the whole of COVID. So I went into the beginning of COVID not in a good space at all. And I couldn't put my finger on what was wrong. So 2018, 2019 in our retail store were tough for me. We'd lost a lot of clients to immigration, economy. It just didn't feel like it had felt 2016 backwards. Couldn't put my finger on it. And then lockdown happened, and I came home, and in that first week, I had time to step back and look in. And I realized that I was completely complicit in the business being stuck, because I was stuck. And I thought, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to I knew that we had enough money for 3 months worth of wages. Rent was a bit of a push, but I knew the wages were taken care of, and also things like insurance on the building. And so I was able to take a deep breath and go, okay, let's not think about money right now. Let's think about a way forward, because I've spent 35 years building this business. I am not going to lose it. Yes. But it's a niche business. It's clothing that lasts forever. So are my clients even going to want to buy clothes? Are they going to need clothes? But I stepped back and I just chilled for a week. I never allowed my brain to go anywhere down the road of hysteria or fear or any of that. And then into the second week, I took a piece of paper, and I always do things the opposite way around. So, you know, they say to you, write down all the negatives first and then match it with a positive. Yeah. I do it the other way. I wrote all the positives down about what I loved about my business. And then I wrote the couple of negatives that I didn't. Yes. And I looked at them and I was like, okay, we're going to start crossing off those negatives and we're going to start focusing on the positives. I have this incredible tribe of women who are unbelievably supportive. What do they need? Yes. So I started talking to them. I started sending videos. I have a WhatsApp list that I send videos every week to. Now we weren't producing, so I couldn't send videos. Yes. But I could still talk to them. Yes. And I didn't realize at all. And it's just, it's something that is just, it's something I will never, ever forget. I will take this with me into the afterlife. I never realized that my clients carried on supporting me through the whole of last year, through the hardest lockdown. Wow. Because I was a symbol of normality in their life. Wow. I never realized that. They were buying clothes that they probably didn't need. Yes. But because they were having the contact with me, it made them feel that there was still some normality in this mad world. Wow. So as long as they kept on buying from me, life seemed normal. Plus, they were having communication with me, ordering what color, then their invoice, then the confirmation of payment, and then the courier guy, who was probably the only person they'd seen in 3 months, or was seen in 3 months. So that was one of the things that it was unbelievable. And then I got a mask. I got approached to make masks, and I took them on the whole journey with me. I shot video. I shared the videos with them. They were ordering masks from the company that I partnered with. And then I pivoted the business completely. And that's where I absolutely know that we spoke about it off camera. I have this thing about my universe parking in a deck chair with its hands behind its head going, oh, I'm so bored listening to her going on. Well, in this particular scenario, my universe jumped straight out of its deck chair and just did what it does. Yes. I got approached with a range of loungewear fabric. What? That I've been dreaming about and begging for, and nobody ever brought it into the country. And I got this call to say, hi, Hayley, I've received a job lot of the most amazing cotton lycra. I was like, universe, where? I mean, like, that was amazing. Because 5XL, 6XL, 7XL sizes cannot buy decent loungewear stroke pajamas anywhere. Like, it's very difficult. So we went straight and we just pivoted everything. We pulled all our old loungewear patterns out, we revamped them, and we went into this mass production of PJs and loungewear, and that sustained us. It kept us in business when we had a better year in 2020 than we'd had in 19 and 18.
Sure, that is incredible.
Amazing. It was like, but the fabric, the fact like that, and that's ask and ye shall receive, they say. I've been asking a long time for that printed cotton, and clearly it was never meant to happen until because everybody was at home. So perfect. And they loved it. And when those 5, 6, and 7 XL girls got that stuff and it fitted them. The tops were long, the pants were respectfully made. I mean, they just jumped straight back and said, I want every color that there is. Like, this is amazing. But we've got access to, yeah, no, it was just incredible. And it's just carried on. I also started to put myself out there a lot more. I realized that for a long time, part of the stuckness was that I was just taking a photo and putting a generic photo up on Facebook, Instagram, and I wasn't getting anything. And then I started putting myself in the clothing, talking about the clothing on video, and that just exploded. Hayley Joy, like the reach was just phenomenal. Like to people who would never have seen that static picture, because you know the algorithm story on Facebook. When you put a static picture up, 1% of people see it, but video is different because Facebook loves video. So you know, because there's more engagement on video, and I am very blessed to have a very engaged tribe. But it's been an amazing journey, and I'm very, very grateful that I've come through and we're still intact, and I never had to retrench anybody, and I'm very blessed and very grateful.
Wonderful. Hayley, I want to end off our interview or our discussion or our chat today by asking, where is Hayley Joy going? You're obviously on such a high right now with things changing and going even better than what you expected. What are your plans with Hayley Joy going forward?
So 2 things. We're going global soon.
Yes.
So we're in the process. We're in the process of sending a sample range to the US. Which I'm so excited about.
Yes.
But before that's happening, I have taken ownership that my online store is not where it should be, and it's not representative of the side of me and the business that the online is not seeing. So there's nothing about Hayley in the store. And for Facebook, I've realized that it needs to be more about me, because the market that I'm servicing is a traumatized market, and they need to feel comfortable. And when they arrive on this cold, impersonal online store, it doesn't talk to them. Whereas a Facebook Live speaks volumes, because it's me, and exactly as you see me here, that's me on Facebook Live. That's me in the showroom. Maybe I don't have a necklace on, but other than that, the Hayley, and that's what I want to take into the website. So I'm very involved at the moment, rebuilding the website and giving it lots of love. Wonderful. And then global. And you know what it is, Lee? Going forward, I just want to reach all of those women, and it's not for the business. It's for them. This is very much about the customer. The business will come. The money will get taken, that side gets taken care of. I want to reach all those women across South Africa for now that don't know about Hayley Joy and don't know that there is a brand making genuine plus size clothing. And it's proudly South African.
Love it.
You know, it's and you can talk to me. I'm a real person.
Yes.
I'm not some chatbot in cyberspace. So if you have an issue, you've got bigger arms and you need help with you, I am there, I am available. So that's where, but definitely global. That's wonderful. I've got so much reach.
Yes. Well, Hayley, you know what, and I think I'm so glad that you are part of this deVonk launch and featuring in our e-magazine. It is such a privilege, and I think, you know, we reaching such a wide spectrum, networking, you know, people, and all I want to see is that your brand also gets recognized, and maybe women that never even knew Hayley Joy existed to find you. So it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. All your contact details, everything will be, you know, on the screen as well in a short bit, and also in the article, and people can get hold of you. And wow, you are not just an amazing woman and inspiration, but you are taking this business to the next level of actually just touching people's lives. And that that at the end of the day is just absolutely phenomenal. Hayley, thank you. Thank
Making
you
a
so much.
difference. Making a difference while I make a living, Miss
Yes.
Teacher.
I love it. Take that.
Thank you. And thank you for your vision and good luck with it all. And I'm here, I'm on board. We're here to support you from Hayley Joy. And I'm loving watching you build this thing out of the ground. It's so exciting.
Thank you so much, Hayley. Thank you. I'll chat to you soon.
Okay, take care.
Bye.
Bye.